I rise to tell my colleagues a hilarious story that applies to this amendment. So, Senator Murphy brought up the alibi bar. Wasn't it hilarious for me to be watching CCO that night? And this is all verifiable, I'm just saying it out loud. My employee was one of the guys that they interviewed. And if you have any doubt, just watch the footage, you'll see his hat, PE Services. And he enjoyed a few drinks at the alibi bar. He happens to make about 25 bucks an hour. And whether he got COVID or not, I really can't tell you that. But let's say he did, and let's say then I had to pay for him to be homesick for 10 days. You can do the math, it's pretty easy. 25 times 8 times 10 is $2,000. Let's say that my overhead's about 100%. That cost me really $4,000 to have him go out for a few drinks that night if he got COVID. Now, I have 32 employees. I have several of them who have made, I'll say it, dumb decisions about how they spend their time during COVID. And they got infected, and as a business owner, I can put dollars to that. I know exactly how much it has cost me to pay for my employees to be at home, whether they're sick or whether they're just isolating, but I have incurred that expense, and anybody wants to see my books, I'm happy to show you that. Plus, look up the video. I think you'll find it is indeed hilarious, especially our staff members, as I called in panic about what to do about that. So, Senator Murphy got up and talked about the fact that 7,600 people in Minnesota have died because of COVID. And I echo her remarks that every one of those counts for a lot. Senator Friends kind of teased me yesterday because I talked about innovative highway design, and I'm warning you, I'm going to talk about something related to that right now. For Senator Dames to get up and say the science says if we did this, we would do that or that or that, we can never prove what didn't happen. So let me tell you what I tell my students when I teach highway design. Science is involved in every double stripe on a 2-lane road. Did you ever wonder, how do engineers know when it's safe to pass? You know how we know? Science. We do the geometry. And I'm going to really go off here. Vertical curvature is based on parabolic geometry. And if you want to know the sight distance, it's based on the speed you're driving, the height of the driver, all kinds of things. And we know, because of science, that in fact, if a car driving, let's say 55 miles an hour, wants to pass and they're on a vertical curve and there is a car that is of a specific height coming at them, they should be able to see if it's safe enough based on the laws of physics. That is science. But you know what I tell my students? If you pass in a no passing zone, there's not a 100% chance you're going to die. How many here have passed in a no passing zone? Lots of us.
Mr. President.
The science tells us
Senator
that the law...
Hold on, Senator Johnson Stewart. Senator Senjum, for what reason do you rise?
Mr. President, the amendment deals with a penalty and whether or not we reduce a penalty down to $1,000. That ought to be the debate.
Members, just a reminder, please limit the discussion to the question before the body. Right now we are on section 1.1 to 1.15 of the divided amendment. Senator Johnson Stewart.
Mr. President, I'm happy to do that, and I encourage my other colleagues to do the same. But again, we cannot disprove what doesn't happen, whether we're talking about highway deaths or COVID deaths, and that's why we have to make responsible decisions. Just remember, though, I did in fact pay $4,000 for my dumbass employee to go to that bar that night. Thank you.